So yeah, that's their fleet, which is only made up of 2 cogs, which we will crush easily. So we'll send our fleet in that direction. And the naval battles aren't really all too different from the land battles. So you can see, instead of you have the morale thing, but instead of having the regiments, you've got all your individual ships and a percentage meter which indicates their health. So once you go down, they're going to lose really easily. See there, that happened really quickly. They lost their 2 ships, which is good. So we'll just load our troops on and send them down into Aquitaine. Ignore them, they aren't important. Okay, so we'll send them into Gascogne and free up that siege. You can see how often I'm pausing and unpausing here when playing at this speed. So probably if it's your first time playing, you might want to play at a slower speed. But if if you're playing at this high speed, you know, always keep your hand on that space bar. And so you see, you win there quite easily. Send them down to the board. And since there's no chance of retaliation, I might just go ahead and outright assault this and see if we can just like quickly end the siege. No, it didn't happen, but we did reduce the garrison to only 372 people, so we'll be able to siege it up or assault again quite soon once our morale restores. See how quickly the walls got breached there. There we go. So we'll annex these people here. There's a bit of infamy, but it doesn't matter too much. Okay, we'll just send our troops back in and send them back to Ireland, since we have, you know, 2 other nations to conquer here. Also, you notice that auto saves at the beginning of every year. You can turn that off if you want, but I always find it really useful in case you make a mistake, because you don't always save, and it's always nice to have some auto saves lying about. So you can see here we've got Connacht and Tyrone. As you can see there, they both haven't allied with anyone, so it's really easy just to conquer them. Declare war on these guys here. Send our army in. Completely annihilated there. We'll assault them as well. When you're only fighting these tiny, you know, nations, so you can't just assault straight off in the, you know, the off chance that you do finish a siege, you know, straight away. But it doesn't matter if you don't. You know, your army isn't in any real danger. And you don't lose too many men from it either. So our morale's back up. We'll just assault again, and we've taken it. Annex these guys again. And so infamy is getting pretty high, already at 8.98, and you see that reduces by 0.5 every year. So once we've done these Irish conquests, we're not going to be able to declare war on anyone for quite a while. And we'll just declare war on these again. And while this is going on, I want to point out something. While you can just go about conquering any provinces that you want, it's really not advisable unless, you know, they're part of your core provinces, which is what they call them in this game. And if you go over to diplomatic map mode, you can see here, all these green ones here are our core territories, which mean they're considered a part of ours, and if we lose them, we can take them back at no infamy cost whatsoever. And you can see these ones here where they've kind of got that grey stripe. That means they're ours, but they're not our cause yet. And generally you want to, well, if you're a big nation, it doesn't matter if you conquer a few territories here and there, they aren't your cards, because if you hold them for 50 years, then they'll become part of your, they'll become a core province of yours anyway, so it's alright. But the thing to notice about cores is, if you occupy them and they're not, you know, you don't have a core on that province, then you don't make anywhere near as much money from them, and they'll always have a slight revolt risk. So always keep that in mind. And the reason we're just conquering these ones, even though they're not our cause, is if you see on our mission here, once we conquer all of Ireland, we actually gain cores in all these territories for free, which is really, really quite nice. So we'll just wait for another trade station founded. Basically, you'll get these quite often if you're part of a trade league, like the Hanseatic Trade League or the Venetian Trade League. And you can see what they do. It'll pick a random province, then you'll get a local revolt risk -1, but a local tax modifier plus 10%, which is a really nice buff, especially considering we're about to get it on London as well, which is always nice. So you see our tax in London is 17, and Then we get this bonus and wait for the next month to come around. Well, hasn't really increased, but you know. Either way, it's always nice to have those benefits. But yeah, if you do get into a water with Hansa or Venice and you're part of their trade league, all these trade league stations will close that you've built up over time, so keep that in mind as well. I don't intend on us going to war with Hansa at any point. If you wonder who the Hansa are, it's just this tiny nation here. And yeah, we won't need to go to war with them, but if we do, our trade stations will close. So keep that in mind. Let's ignore these. Just random casus belli changes between countries. Set infamy's back up, so let's assault again, see if we win. Not quite. Won't matter, the siege will be over soon enough. And see already infamy's went down from 8.9 to 8.7. So it does go down fairly quickly, especially with a lot of bonuses and stuff you can pick up later on. The infamy can get down really fast. We'll go into those later on. See how stability's increased, so we're at +2 again, so hopefully we'll be at +3 quite soon. And there we go. You can see already a revolt's happened in Munster, so we've got 4 regiments here. We'll just leave them while we're sieging here. Wait till Connacht's taken, and then we'll clean these up. And when these become our when these do become our cause, the revolt risk will go right down, so we won't have to worry about it afterwards. We'll assault again. There we go, we're taking it. So annex them again at 11.8, which is quite high, but we won't be conquering any places quite soon. So there we go, completed the mission. And we have another mission, Vassalize Scotland. This is the one I was hoping we would get. You can see what this mission means is that we basically get a free casus belli that let us vassalize Scotland outright. And if you're not too sure what a vassal is, basically means they're not technically part of your country, but basically you'll have a constant alliance with them. They'll always join in whatever war you start, no matter what. And they'll never be able to break this vassalization unless they declare war on you. So if you're always more powerful than them, you always got this vassal. It's always nice to have a few vassals here and there, since they can be quite, especially powerful nations like Scotland. It's always nice to have them as a vassal. So you see, you read the flavour text if you want. We don't really need to. So you see, it costs 0 infamy, which is very important. So that means after this, we'll be able to do it, straight away. It doesn't matter what our infamy is already. See, we're accepting Irish as a culture now. That means because we just got a bunch of cars in Irish territories. That won't affect us really at all. And there we go. Now our morale's up a bit more. We'll take out these rebels. There we go. Took them out really fast. So you see, in the revolt race, now they're all back to green again because they're our cause. So as you can see, even with all the extra recruitment we've done, our incomes went up to 91, which is a result of all these Irish conquests. So while we're doing that, we may as well recruit a few more cogs so we can transport more regiments across. I'll make 4, that'll do. In the meantime, we'll just send our troops back to England, onto the Scottish border. See, they've got an army of around 7 regiments, which isn't that much. We'll be able to take it, but if there's that, what the AI has a habit to do whenever it gets in a war is just to start recruiting as many mercenaries as it can, as quickly as it can, which can be quite troublesome, especially if you think you're outnumbered in the beginning, then suddenly they outnumber you quite heavily. So we'll have to keep that in mind when we declare war on them. And since we've got so much extra money here, around 300, we will recruit a lot more regiments. So just, I've got 13 here, so we'll recruit 14, 15, 16. Recruit 4 more for that army, then we'll recruit ourselves a little smaller to take over any undefended Scottish provinces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Wait for these to finish. And you see at the side here, it tells you can quickly see how long it's going to take to recruit all these men or build all the ships and stuff. And you can always click on the army at the top right there and it'll automatically select whichever one you had. So we'll just wait a bit, and in the meantime, if you do declare war on them, you can see this is quite bad. You're not going to, when you get this mission, you aren't going to avoid this. They are allied with Burgundy and guaranteed by France. So France, there's a chance that they might not intervene, but they probably will. And they're allied with Portugal as well, which is our ally. And you can see Portugal's not going to join us, so they'll probably have a chance of joining them, which isn't too good. But the reason I'll declare war on them anyway, this doesn't really matter, is mainly because of our navy. Even if they take these 3 provinces here, they don't. When you add all those up together, it's not too high of a war score. So eventually we'll be able just to wipe peace out, because if the AI sees that this war is going absolutely nowhere, then eventually they will just wipe peace, even if they do have the technical, numerical advantage in army or navy count. See all our new regiments have been recruited here. We'll add these 4 to this army here. And you see our income's going way down. Generally, most of your expenses will go towards army maintenance. And we'll just quickly join up these navies together. Oh. They all need to be in the same port, obviously, before you do combine them. And we'll send these up to our main fleet as well. It'll go all the way around, that doesn't matter. You see here we've got our army of 17,000 here, and a nice little army of 5,000 as well, just to supplement it. We'll swap them around since their army's over there in Lothian. Combine our fleets again, and yeah. Oh, this is very useful. As you can see, Portugal's at war with Castile, and since Portugal was the only one who might join this war, he would have a decent navy. He might be able to land some troops on the British Isles or Ireland. This is very useful for us, since they probably won't join our war against Scotland. Now, this might be different in your save game as England, since every time you play the game, though, the wars are always going to be different. Different nations are going to be more powerful and stuff like that. So, even if they do join, it won't be too big a deal. Just make sure, just keep an eye on, all the sea provinces around the British Isles, and make sure no fleet gets there. And even if they do land some troops, it won't be that many, not any more that you can handle already. So eventually, once you aren't do any more pressing matters, just send your troops over there and free up whatever provinces they're sieging. So now I don't see a better time than this to declare war on them. Now, generally before you do any commence any risky wars, always just save your game quick before, just in case it goes completely horribly wrong. You can always load it up again, which we might have to do. Hopefully we won't. I can't see us having to. So also we may as well convert our ruler to a general, so this army gets a free general as well. You won't really have to worry too much about your ruler dying, since generals, it's kind of rare for them to just suddenly die in one battle, but it does happen, but it probably won't. Especially if you keep them out of any major huge battles where they might lose. So let's wait for this army to get full strength, there we go, and we'll declare war on them. So subjugation. You see Austria might join, but there's no point calling them, since they have no way of ferrying troops over. We might call them if France joins, since they might help us in a war against France and Burgundy, but we'll see. Okay, declare war, subjugation, and there we go. So if I do anything, we'll just send the troops over into there, and leave these here just in case. We don't want to get them caught, fighting the army of 9 regiments yet. And here we go. This doesn't look too good. You can see Burgundy, France, and Portugal all joined, but I don't see Portugal doing too much anyway, since they were at war